Hey everybody, on today's episode, we'll be talking about Chat GPT, all kinds of interesting stuff with artificial intelligence. You're going to learn quite a bit from this episode. You got to listen in.
Welcome to the Property Management Mastermind Show with your host, Brad Larson. Brad owns one of the fastest growing property management companies in San Antonio, Texas. This podcast is for property managers by property managers. You'll hear from industry-leading professionals on best practices, new ideas, success stories, and lessons learned. This is your opportunity to learn about the latest industry buzz surrounding property management, as well as tips and strategies to improve your business.
Need a repair at 2 a.m.? Easy does it. Easy Repair coordinates maintenance and nothing else, and takes after-hour maintenance calls for property managers, working with your property management software, so you can see exactly what Easy is doing without leaving your own software. From Las Vegas, Nevada, our full-time maintenance coordinators will dispatch your work orders directly with your vendors. Give us a call at 800-488-6032 or visit our website, easyrepairhotlinellc.com.
Are you looking to grow your company? Upkeep Media specializes in working with property management companies to help them grow their business. They have helped hundreds of companies add more properties under management with their 3-phase system. They put a focus on helping property management companies succeed, and you can see proof of this with dozens of success stories available on their website. They currently offer a free growth marketing session for anyone who signs up at upkeepmedia.com/growth. With their specialists in the property management industry, Upkeep Media gives you the edge that makes all the difference. Contact them today at info@upkeepmedia.com or call 1-800-418-9430.
Welcome everybody to another edition of the Property Management Mastermind Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Larson, live and in person here at PMMCON 2023 here in Nashville, Tennessee. This is our 4th iteration of PMMCON, and I just bumped into Matt, and we are going to talk about what he does. And he was trying to tell me outside in the hallway, and I'm like, dude, just stop right there. Let's go do a podcast, because I am very interested in what you're going to tell us about what he's offering in his product. I'm not going to try to butcher his introduction, get his name wrong, get his company wrong. I'm going to more like just throw it out there, and you and I are going to chat like I just met you off the street.
Yep.
The beautiful thing about this podcast is it is like a secret shopper type of a scenario, where you're going to start from zero and introduce me to everything in your business. We've got his website open, so we're going to talk through it and really just have a really good conversation about what you guys are doing. Number one, thank you for being a sponsor at the PMMCON.
Yeah,
appreciate
thanks
you
for
being
having
here.
me. Absolutely.
And so I'm going to turn the mic over to you and do what I do very poorly at, and that's shut up. Go ahead.
Yeah, so, and for some context too. So I started my career in software sales. I got involved in real estate investing, jumped into that full time, needed to build a property management business to support that. And so I started as a property manager. I'm coming full circle back into the tech scene. We grew from about 100 doors in my business, Live Indy in Indianapolis, up to over 350 doors in about a 12-month span. And we did that using a lot of these tools that we're now providing to our customers through my business, Property Management Advisory.
Nice. That's a good mouthful, good intro, because there's so many things to unpack about that. And really, we need to go to your website, because you had a couple different offerings that we probably want to touch on just to really give some context. Because you talked about, all right, go to the product page. And so I'm hovering over that, and you have things that are called Smart Referral, Smart Mail, Smart Content, and Smart Site. Great terms, by the way. And so I want to kind of maybe unpack some of those and really dive in deep. Now, is there one that you want to talk about right away that's kind of like your bread and butter?
Yeah, I think the bread and butter is really, so we started the company to help property management owners grow their business. And so what we found was that time was the most valuable resource for a property manager. Juggling balls, putting fires out, whatever analogy you want to use, it's a tough business to operate. And so if you can grow your business with tools that are automated, that are consistent, it's going to really allow you to control your growth. And so I think our Smart Referral, our Smart Mail tool are two ways that anyone can get involved right away, leverage them, and we're not reinventing the wheel. Smart Referral, for example, if you're getting referrals from realtors, from clients, you can take that to the next level with our tracking, real-time tracking, and have a dashboard to see and manage and cultivate those relationships. With Smart Referral, I really say it's you put the work up front I say, hey, add 10, 12 referral partners, put it into the system in the first 3 months. You'll reap the passive results back in terms of adding doors. With Smart Mail, we've taken this very difficult have you ever sent direct mail before?
Of course.
And so if you realize that it's this process, you have to get your data, clean the data, you have to design a mailer, design that strategy. Who's going to send the postcard? Are you going to be packing it yourself? You're going to hire a company. And then once you send the mail out, do you have tracking set up? What's the conversion like? It's a really difficult process that within our tool, you could send 1,000 targeted mailers once a month for 7 months, all tracked in real time with personalized URLs and some really cool tech. And you can do that with an order, probably the next 30 seconds, you could complete that order right now.
Does it even track like the bounces, the postcards or the mailers that come back?
Yeah, it does. And so the coolest thing about the tracking is we have, because we also do the smart sites, which is this website infrastructure, that opens the door for a lot of tracking analytics. And so by having these personalized URLs, imagine if you wanted to track, let's say you wanted to send 1,000 mailers to, you're in San Antonio, right?
Right.
1,000 mailers, what would be like your target neighborhood, or is it more general?
Let's say Stone Oak, for example, and that's a neighborhood inside of North San Antonio, and it's a giant area.
Yep.
But let's say you want to target non-owner occupied, out-of-state owners.
Yep.
Right, and so you go through the tax rolls, and you can identify who's got an address that's different from the address of the home. The home is 123 Maple, San Antonio, and then you look for, somebody's at 456 Smith Street in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Yep.
And, oh, great, they're an out-of-state owner. I'm going to send them a mailer.
Exactly.
And we've had lists of like 20,000, of those types of names. And then you filter it down to like areas that you want by zip code or whatever else. And maybe this is where you help out.
Yeah, and so we've taken that whole process, and we when we first started, you could have called us a data company. That's really where, when I was at Live Indy and in the trenches kind of running the day-to-day there with the property management business, I had this crazy idea, and I said, what if I knew every professionally managed or self-managed property in Indianapolis, and I knew who managed it, who the owner was, and what their contact info was. Mm-hmm. And so we took that at a large scale, and we produced our own mine data. And so the cool thing about this is, for our customers, you don't have to worry about any of that, but you're targeting some of your criteria was interesting. What was the neighborhood again?
Just call it Stone Oak, which is a giant area. Yeah.
So imagine in Stone Oak, you could say, hey, I want to send 1,000 mailers to investment property owners, what we call an investor, which is 2 to 6 doors. And you want to send a rent range between $1,800 and $2,500. I don't know if that would be right.
You can get that deep into it, huh?
You can get that deep. And then when they get the mail, each individual mailer is attached to a personalized URL to that specific person, say John Smith. When John Smith gets that mailer, it's a 6x9 card. Mm-hmm. We call our current templates colorful characters. It really stands out. It's going to get you to really interact. It's very vibrant. You're going to scan the QR code, ideally. If they don't fill that form out and become a lead, what's cool is you're going to know that John Smith scanned that form and has 6 properties, and here's the addresses.
Oh,
so what can you do then with that data, right? And so it really opens the door for a lot more potent marketing, thus kind of the automation piece we were talking about before.
Yeah, the challenge with any growth, obviously, is just trying to get people to talk to, trying to get leads, right? And so leads are generated in 100 different ways. This could be one more arrow in the quiver, if you would, to potentially generate leads. The Smart Mail is fun. One of the questions I would have, like I've sent out mailers before with their letters. Does your system do with like hey, I'm going to send you a PDF, 2-page letter. Do you have a way to print and stuff an envelope? ?
Yeah, so we've simplified the process where that could be something we do down the road, but we've, through a lot of testing research, the best way to convert doors with our data is the 6x9 flashy postcard.
Okay.
In terms of ROI, because we don't really think about how many leads are you getting. We really think about what's your cost per door. And so what we've seen, depending on market, we're looking at $300 to $500 cost per door. Mm-hmm. But the cool thing about the Smart Mail is put the money in, get the doors back. It really is passive because the leads are going to come through. And you might have we had a lead the other day. It was 15 doors. Next day, we're doing a Kenny, guy that runs our day-to-day, and Kenny Hall in Indianapolis, he runs our day-to-day with Live Indy. He walked all the properties the following day and had a contract out to him by the weekend. And so it can really turn around that quickly where you can free up that time.
That's pretty interesting. how does that incorporate into any other sort of CRM? Is this platform that you're showing me now, Property Management Advisory? Is it something to the effect of that? I mean, I'm just trying to track all that. And I see several different content things in here: smart content, smart site, smart mail, smart referral. I'm just trying to understand how it all pieces together. Now, some of these questions are dumb, and because I don't know anything about anything, you were trying to tell me about all this stuff in the hall. I said, let's just do it on a podcast, because I really am starting from scratch, wanting to learn what you do.
Yeah, and so if you took all of our tools, there's a handful, right? And they're all very complementary. And so if you took them all and you added up how many logins that we're eliminating, because you're probably, if you're a property management company owner listening to this, you're probably thinking, oh no, not another
login. Tech stack on the tech stack that's already a giant molehill.
But everyone that's listening to this has a website. And so when we started this, we didn't think, hey, we're going to build property management company websites. But it's unbelievable how many doors that opens up with some of these other tech tools that we provide when you start with the website. And so our websites are built as progressive web apps. It's kind of the latest and greatest tech, but it's also with a website as a service model. And so your website, all our websites are on one set of code. So if we have 10,000 customers and we make an update, say Google changes something, we can make the update for all 10,000 customers all at once. And so rather than paying a setup fee, upfront cost, maybe 2 years down the road when your website gets worse over time and you have to reinvest, you'll never have to worry about that again. And so it starts with the website. Now the content, I think this is maybe a good opportunity to talk about the elephant in the room, ChatGPT maybe.
Kind of, yeah, because we saw a little bit this morning. For example, Cheryl Knowlton kicked off the conference with her presentation. I thought she did a great job. And, part of that is she brought up the ChatGPT app, and she gave some great examples. One was she asked the ChatGPT app, what are some of the challenges in property management? And gave like 20, list of 20 things, right? And she started to read them off, and some of it's pretty amazing. So I guess the question inside of this discussion is, how should property managers apply that to their business, and for what gain?
Absolutely. So it's a really confusing topic. It's exciting. I think that it's as significant as the internet coming out, the iPhone being created, in terms of the disruption.
Okay.
And I can give specific examples of that. So when you think about content, well, let's say first just time saving. What's something that we all do every day working in a business? I'll kind
answer
of
questions,
and maybe through email.
Right, the FAQs, like what does your home cost?
Yeah.
How do I apply for it? Because we were talking about, if you think chat, you think websites. You go to a website. Let's say you want to go pay your water bill, and up comes a chat on, I just want to pay my water bill. Where do I go? And that's what you're saying these are going to answer for some of our clients and customers.
Well, and it can be an internal tool as well. So we have ChatGPT plugged in via the API into our software. So all of our customers have access to essentially the $20 per month, pro plan is plugged right into our API. But the cool thing is we've trained it to be a professional with property management and to talk through that lens. And it can actually even talk specifically about your company and your specific, your lease parameters, your pricing, and it's educated on that information. But in terms of being a time saver, we call it Amy Chat, AI with Amy. I thought it was clever, but here's an example. We send emails every day.
Yep.
How many emails do you think you send each day?
Call it 25 for fun. And I'm on the low spectrum. Let's say our PMs might send out 100 a day.
So the average, I think, is something like 124 is what I read.
Okay.
So on average, someone in a business, property manager, is going to spend somewhere around 11 hours a week in their email.
Believe it.
It's kind of crazy, right? It's like 25% of their time, 28%, somewhere in that range, depending on what source, in email.
Yeah.
So what if you could take shave off 20% of that time? I shave off probably half of it using this ChatGPT tool.
Okay.
But let's just say you could save 20%. The average property management company, let's say 7 team members, adding, remote team members, virtual assistants, that sort of thing in the mix as well. 2 hours a day would be how much you could save 20%. 2 hours times 7 staff members over the course of a year, you're going to save almost saying it's like 728 hours a year, $20 an hour. That's $10,000 worth of, or $15,000, I think, dollars of savings in terms of time. But here's the biggest impact for me. It's not about the time saving. It's about the energy that you save, especially in property management. Because anytime you're sending an email, it's an upset client potentially. It's an issue. It's coordinating a rehab with a vendor.
Yeah.
And constantly send those emails. It drains your time.
One of the things that drains my time is all the spam. That's where I spend 20% of my time just unsubscribing to crap.
Yep.
So I don't know if does your system help with any of that stuff?
So it doesn't help with that, but a good use case there could be a virtual team member could oversee your inbox and could write your drafts of all your emails using the ChatGPT tool. And then all you'd have to do is, they highlight 10 a day that are important, throw the rest out. You respond to those 10 that they draft, make a couple quick little edits, hit send. Now you just went from 11 hours a week on your email, or for you, maybe just a few, but you probably cut that into a third.
That's interesting.
And
Where do you see the biggest play for GPT in the PM space? Is it that email scenario?
So that's a time saver. That's the easiest one to digest, but
Okay.
by far the biggest impact that this can have is on your blog content, your SEO strategy.
Oh, okay. Now, I did see an issue a scenario where they're writing the content for a multiple listing service or Zillow or whatever you advertise on your website, and basically you spit it in there like 3-bedroom, 2-bath, near a good school. Something very generic.
Yep.
And that's what you verbally speak into the Chat GPT or write it in there. And then it produces like a 300-word description.
Yep.
Gorgeously elegant, beautiful, lavish 3-bedroom home in an immaculate community with 2 fully scaled bathrooms. And it takes your 10 words and turns it into 150.
Exactly.
And it's really kind of fascinating. So that's turning into a situation where PMs may not be the most creative in describing a home, right? And especially realtors, this is kind of a realtor PM thing because we have to put physical descriptions of the home in our marketing efforts, at least some point, even if it's super stupid and dry, like 3-bedroom, 2-bath, $2,000, $2,000 a month, whatever.
I pulled a prompt up here that's an email, but in terms of I do that. Our team does that every day. They're probably, back in Indy, they've probably done it 2 or 3 times with our leasing season coming up. And then we would do, 4415 Ralston, $1,300, recently updated, large backyard, walkable to restaurants, like just, word vomit, whatever's in your head, what you need it to include. And then it's going to put you're going to go, why did I not do this every time?
Yeah.
And that's a 10, 15 minute saver, right?
Yeah. And it puts a very elegantly worded description in. And I've seen it work. And yeah, that's a time saver because to think of the genius that it creates, that you need to create that nicely worded description.
Yep.
Even if you're like William Shakespeare and you can write that and you type 1,000 words a minute, it still takes time. It's going to take 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes sometimes to go through that because of all the other distractions that are going on. I don't know if you ever sit down to do something. Oh, here pops up an email. Here pops up a text message. Here pops up a phone call. And that one thing takes forever. I can see Chat GPT being a really neat feature for that and an immediate something that we could take on at RentWorks where we are and say, all right, how do we incorporate that into what we do with just our descriptions? We're leasing 30, 40 properties a month. That's 30, 40 descriptions to get it right. You do the math on the savings.
Well, so the really cool thing, we're very early with developing the Chat GPT for property management because that's really what we're trying to accomplish. Because long term, you're not going to just go to the Chat GPT website and use the general service. You're going to use it for your specific industry, your specific use case. And so whatever you're inputting into the content brief or the prompt, it really is that. It's a prompt. And so what we do is we preload prompts for property description, email, Facebook post, even blog sections. And so it's just very easy to pop in there, select email. I'm going to give it a couple words. Like I think this one says, write an email to a client about a fence repair, $1,300. Took too long, cost too much. Write in a professional and upbeat tone and use bullet points. That's what I've told it to do. And so you can give that a read, and you don't need to read it to everyone here.
I might have to. You talk about his description, and I'm going to read it out so you can understand it, that he puts it in, it's now put into a very eloquent, succinct, precise email. I hope this email finds you well. I wanted to provide you with an update on the fence repair that we recently completed. While we're glad the fence is now in good shape, we understand the repair process took longer than expected and ended up costing more than we originally quoted. We apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused and would like to make it right. Here are some key details that you need to understand about the fence repair: total cost, time of completion, blah, blah, blah. It goes on, and it's, the best regards, comma, closes it out. And so it took, I don't know, let's call that 30 words and turned it into probably 250 words of very well-written content that makes you sound super professional. I guess that's a part of it, is a lot of folks that we work with in the PM industry, they don't have a lot of formal education. We hope they write and read well, but they may not. But they could be very well organized. They could be good employees. They show up on time. They do the right thing. But you can't expect people to be wordsmith, Shakespearean writers.
Right.
And this
you
is
could
going
actually
to help
have
that.
it write it in a Shakespearean tone if you wanted, which is it's pretty funny. It'll say hath thee and doth
Hear
thee.
ye, hear ye.
It is pretty hilarious, but I'd mess around with it maybe a little too much. And just to take it to a next level here, because it's meant to be very creative. Whatever you tell it to do, it will do, and you can think of any use case. I told it, rewrite the email that Brad, you just read, and I said, write it more concise. And so, you don't need to read it out loud again, but it cut it in half, probably.
Cut it in half, yeah, it did.
Right? And so you can take multiple attempts at it. You can, the whole idea is save time, save that mental energy, let it do the work. Let it, let the computer compute and save your mental energy.
How does that tie into getting it onto the market? So let's talk through this. People are using different softwares out there. You name the 5-10 different softwares that are out on the market for management. That description at some point has to be cut and paste for that example.
Yep.
Email's one thing. That could be cut and paste and put into an Outlook or a Gmail and sent. Okay. Is there any way to integrate that into a software?
Absolutely. Yeah, that I think is the future. We're really scratching the surface with this. We have it integrated, plugged in, accessible to use. Our customers that have websites with us, you can use our smart mail, our smart referral, some of those growth tools. We have a rent estimate that's dynamic, some really cool stuff.
Really? Okay.
That's, within our starter package, $279 a month. I'm not going to sell here too much, but
we want you to, because this is part of why I had you on. I told you to go through the entire thing to include how we get in touch with you and what do you charge and what's it cost and all
Absolutely.
that. I'd rather you say that versus just call me for a quote.
Yeah.
I hate that stuff. You guys know me on this, where you call me up on a management company. Hey, what do you charge for management? Well, it depends. That drives me insane. No, we charge X, we do Y.
Exactly.
Here's full disclosure. So keep going.
Yeah, so you can get started with these growth tools, $279 a month, pay to play with the smart mail. We don't make any money on the referral tool, although it's probably one of the most powerful tools we have. You get access to the Amy Chat, the ChatGPT AI assistant. If you have a website with us, that's when it really unlocks a lot of power, because ChatGPT will be on the front end of our customers' websites, likely probably first to market with that tool. That is going to be an absolute game changer, because you can turn this AI assistant, the power of it's read every book, it knows everything about property management, but we can train it on your documents, your lease, your company, your pricing. Let's think of a scenario. A tenant lands on the front end of your site. You got the chat. It looks like a normal chat. And they say, how many times do you get those emails where it's like, somebody inquired on your website? Well,
really, it's a pet policy. It'd be a great one.
Pet
Get
policy.
a lot of questions about that. Can you tell me your pet policy at RentWorks?
Yep.
And I'm
it
sure
would give it, we could train it to give only bullet points, 3 to 5 bullet points. And so we could train it on what those bullet points are for your specific pet policy.
Well, that would come straight out of your screening criteria and or your tenant handbook.
Yep.
And so it would
It
not
could
be anything.
pull it right from the header there, pet screening. Yeah. And then it could say, if that doesn't help, download this document that, gives you everything you need. But then it wouldn't stop there. It's a sales assistant at this point as well.
Okay.
It might say, are you looking to apply for a property, or are you looking to view a property, right? Where are they at in the stage? It can kind of pick up on those cues, because how we just did the email prompt. Imagine telling it, we train it to say, respond like a salesperson for a residential property management company. Be more aggressive but professional, like something like that, where it's going to do that the best it can.
It'll answer the question. Okay, here's the question. Would you like me to send you a link to apply? please provide me your phone
Exactly.
number or a text
Exactly.
message or an email or whatever the system sets up at.
And so that's a
that
time
closing
saver.
phrase.
Yep.
Is okay.
It'll turn the
Yeah.
corner. It'll close for you. It'll sell for you. It'll save a lot of your team's time. And so AI is not going to eliminate, a company, make it obsolete. But the companies that lean into it and use it, they're going to be more efficient. They're going to save more time. They're going to have that time freed up to do some more things. It's just a competitive advantage. I think, though, that another immediate benefit is the content on your site, your blogs. Our customers, our site LiveIndy is starting to move up the ranks on Google. We relaunched the site in December. I think we've had 12 to 15 leads or so just in this past 10-day span. And so it's really ramping up. And we're posting AI-powered, SEO-powered blog content. We can produce a blog right now in 3 to 5 minutes. A virtual team member could be trained with one video, maybe 2 videos, have it a basic and advanced, to post all of your blog content with SEO science in play to your website, completely eliminating the need for, the content, right?
How long is that going to last, you think, before Google gets wise to that? And they say, we recognize this as it's not fraudulent, but it's not authentic, written by a human.
Yeah, so when you write a blog, like a human writes a blog, it could be someone majored in marketing in college, graduates, and their job is content writing. When they write content, let's say it's for a property manager, maybe it's what's the property management cost structure? Something that's going to rank well. They're searching for something transactional. What research does that person do when they structure the blog? They're going to go to Google and look at a couple, they'll hopefully be professionals in property management and it won't be their first rodeo, but they're essentially regurgitating what is on the internet and formatting it in a way that's compelling to the reader. The AI's read every book, every word on the internet. And so what it does a really good job of, it creates an outline. It can actually create the outline and the sections, but the human touch is really important. We would be posting the blogs instantaneously if we just let the AI post it. That 4 to 5 minutes is the revision, the human touch, editing, couple changes, and then you hit go, because here's something interesting. I'm curious your take on this. Do people read your blogs on your website?
Doubtful. And everything that we have out there has typically been written in answering a question.
Yep.
The blogging, of course, some of it comes from the podcasting, right? You can take an audio blog.
You've got some good SEO juice with that.
And then you turn that into a podcast, and that you can apply that to your management company. But just writing straight up blogs, I don't think a lot of people do that.
Yep.
Meaning they just don't. They hire content writers because writing a blog, again, is it takes a bit of time. I mean, to get all my designations through NARPM, you had to write articles. Well, I physically wrote those articles to be published in the NARPM magazine. And, I'd rather do 2 hours of that time to earn X number of points to get the designation because I'm a good writer. I'm a good BSer on paper. I'm just blessed with that capability. I mean, how do you think I got through college? It wasn't from my good looks. It was because I can BS on paper pretty well and write decent articles. But that's not a common trait. We are very busy, and to do that, it takes a lot of focus.
Right.
You understand? You got to clean your plate of everything going on and say, all right, I'm going to write this blog article. A guy like Scott Brady, he can spit one out in 15 minutes. I mean, he's a genius like that. I don't have that capability. It takes me a bit more. So I guess where I'm going with this is my fear is that those blogs are going to be not flagged, but get in line with all the others because it's all Chat GPT. So is the original blog writing going to be identified as this is written by a human because it's full of mistakes and errors?
So technically, that's a great question. I think that's top of mind for a lot of people. Right now, Google, you'll read some stuff that says Google can detect AI content. That's completely not true. What they can detect is spammy content, which then they would associate potentially to AI writing.
Okay.
And so, but the AI content writing is advancing so rapidly that we read an email out loud to everyone. It sounded like, human maybe wrote that, especially
great,
if you throw a couple edits in, right? And so the human touch is important. What's really interesting, you can, when we do this, you can write the article, you could send it into an AI tool and say, rephrase this article to be not detectable by AI, to show up as human. There's tools you can post a blog, post any content, and it'll tell you the percentage likelihood, because it's just text on a screen. Google, it's not like coded or flagged a different way. And so they can say, hey, 98% human. What we do with all of our blog posts, we make sure they're at least a 70% human rating within that internal process that we follow.
Does it have a translation feature? Because we use a lot of remote team members, right? We have a lot of remote teamers in Mexico. And I yelled at them just yesterday because we were organizing PMMCON and they were speaking in Spanish. And I said, Spanish, blank. And I was swearing at them for fun.
Yep.
And they're like, oh, it's just easier. I'm like, I get it. I'm not giving you a hard time. Just picking on you a little bit for fun. But I'm really thinking, though, for my team, because we have 17 or 18 remote team members, I always forget, but could they dictate something in Spanish and it comes out in English like a super well-worded professional email?
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
They could.
That's a
they
really
could code.
good thing.
They could ask it to write code in Spanish and input in that's how powerful the tool is. But we have to think about how can. And I love that use case because I think that there's a lot of people that are listening that will have that.
Because we know they speak good English. Like a lot of my RTMs grew up in the States. They spent time in the States, but they're not. I'm not expecting them to be college graduates in English. I mean, geez, it's hard enough to speak in one language very well. Trying to speak and write in 2 or 3 is super difficult. So I think what we don't want as a company, one of our fears is to be embarrassed by an RTM sending out an email that looks like it was written by a monkey in crayon.
Right.
And it's just awful reading and it's embarrassment to our company. So a tool like this would help clean that up. And I'd rather see it look more robotic than the other side of that spectrum looks like it was written by a 2-year-old on cocaine or something. It's just we want that to be clean, and it's no knock on them. Don't ask me to write in Spanish.
Well, you want it to be consistent too, and I think that's a benefit of using a tool that's a programmed AI computer type tool. It's going to be very consistent with the messaging.
Do your phones ring too much at your office? Is hiring quality staff a challenge? Virtually Incredible has been making property management easier since 2010. How? 2 ways. First, use our 24/7 call center to answer your leasing calls and book all your showing appointments. Ask about having us help with your mainline calls, emergency repair calls, and see how our new owner hotline can help you add more doors. Second, visit our website to shop from our list of affordable and well-trained virtual assistants. You can hear their spoken English and hire them to start right away. Hiring staff has never been this easy with low upfront costs and immediate placements available. And at Virtually Incredible, we help you try before you buy. Once you know, like, and trust your new staff member, you can hire them direct and save a bundle. Connect with Logan Breen, a 3rd-generation property manager, to schedule a consultation today. Visit virtuallyincredible.com or call 561-693-2648 today. A quiet office is just one phone call away.
So we got to tie that all together. So we talked a lot, about kind of what is out there in the chat GPT. Kind of maybe go again about what you are offering, what it is in a pitch. And I'm just give me the elevator version, right?
Yeah.
Because we kind of talked a lot about stuff, and I want the listener to be very clear about who you are, what you're offering.
Yeah. So, and we've got a lot of tools. It's definitely very cohesive when you kind of see it in one pitch and one presentation, which I'll do here in a moment. Go to propertymanagement.page. Look at our product section. You're going to see it'll be very clear. It's going to resonate because again, I'm a property manager. I built these tools, to make my life easier, and I think they're going to make your life easier too. So. The pitch is you go to our pricing section. I think that's where we really stand out. With our growth package, $795 a month, you get a world-class website that you will never have to invest in again. It will improve over time and will always stay at a world-class level. Reach out to us. We'll run a report on your current site, compare it to ours, and you'll have some pretty objective stats to look through as far as the site goes. You'll also get access to the smart content. You can potentially eliminate the need for the professional blogs, or you could invite your professional blog company into the environment to write the blogs within, your site. You'll have the smart referral, the smart mail tool, accessible. You'll have the AI chat, ChatGPT for property management, plugged right in, unlimited use. And then you have a dynamic rental estimate tool that you can actually share. You can share a link. You can make a recommendation. Instead of it being a static PDF, it's this interactive tool, really, really accurate. Because again, I kind of started things off by saying we actually started as a data company, which has really helped us with that rent estimate tool.
So the rent estimate tool in itself is probably the number one lead generating source for most property manager websites.
Absolutely.
Is it? Okay, I was kind of shooting from the hip there, but
well, I mean,
think it is.
If you think about all of the branding on somebody's site, it's always about that conversion of free rental analysis.
Yes.
When someone reaches out to you as a property manager, they likely have some kind of pain you need to unpack. Why are they reaching out?
And it gives them a reason to go there.
Right, and it's always, they have a subject property in most cases. So you say, hey, here's a link. I've included some comps. I have a recommended rent. You'll see the range. And then they can interact with that report, and they could give feedback back, share that link back with you. But it sounds like it's a nuanced little thing, being a link that's shareable with a web page instead of a PDF. But it is crazy to me. When we built that rent estimate tool, we didn't realize it'd be so sticky. When a customer uses it for the first time, on average, they begin using it over the course of 2 weeks, 10 times a day per team member. And so it's really cool to see that. But again, all these tools are all packed within your website with a login, and all these tools are in the back end. It integrates with Lead Simple. Be able to plug if you use Lead Simple, we could, hook it in with a Zap if you use something else. I use Lead Simple, it plugs right in to your different workflow, has the lead segmenting, and we're just getting started too with, we're really, sounds like a lot of things going on there, but really it's pretty tight. A lot of it's automation, especially like the smart mail, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You put the money in, you get the doors back. I think a lot of people wish that was the case with, some of the lead providers they might be working with right now. At least that was for me.
It's really interesting stuff, actually, because I'm very curious to see how it works. I see on your website you have a really good scheduling tool as well. I always thought that was a good thing for property managers to have. Some sort of like scheduling, Calendly. I don't know what software you're tied into there, but a way to say I want somebody to call me tomorrow at 4:30 and talk to me about whatever. So, are you a big believer in that? Kind of give me your philosophy.
Yeah, so we have. That's a really good question. It was very on topic with something our team was discussing recently. Previously, we used Calendly links with our customers on the conversion on their sites, on their websites. We changed that because putting the Calendly plugin into the site actually degraded the performance of the website a little bit.
Really?
And so it hurt us a bit on SEO and best practices and some things that affected our traffic and lead flow conversion rate.
Because they're talking about load times?
Load times,
yeah.
You're taking this other technology and you're trying to kind of plug it into this existing infrastructure. But if you go to our website, propertymanagement.page, we built our tech company website on the exact same infrastructure that we build all of our customer sites. And so it's really dynamic. You'll have a lot of editing capabilities from that back end. And it's all really intended to, don't worry about your website. Don't worry about your...
It's all ADA compliant too?
It is all ADA compliant, absolutely.
Isn't that a crazy
thing? And it
thing?
stays ADA compliant.
Yeah,
it will always be ADA compliant because we'll be monitoring that on a weekly and monthly basis.
That's always the crazy thing because...
that's scary stuff.
It is. And, all of a sudden you're not ADA compliant, and here comes a lawsuit, and you're like, it's just a website.
Or here comes an update to your site. You're like, we got to reinvest in the site again.
Or it crashes.
It crashes. As a property manager, we don't have time for that.
No.
That kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
We need to focus on our team, building out our systems, our operations. It's funny when because we're property management advisory. We're not the sexy tech company name with an X, and we're specifically property management advisory, and that advisory is important for us too. We have a really good community of property management company owners that, can lean on each other with best practices, what's working, what's not working. And I think that's a valuable piece. We talk a lot with our customers about operations, sharing ideas. I think on my way here, I got an email from one of our customers in Austin, Texas. He said, hey, I'm doing a presentation for an HOA community. I'm just now getting into that market. I don't have a sample. Do you have one? texted one of my other clients. He sent me his sample he uses, fired it off to him, and now he's benefiting from that community we've created.
That's good stuff, because that's, there's nothing original. Here we are at the Mastermind Conference, and that's kind of the spirit of sharing. And it's interesting because in real estate world, right, real estate agents and sales and brokers and all that, they don't share anything. They're like, it's all mine. I'm not sharing anything. Go away. Don't talk to me. I'll share something with you, but you got to pay me for it.
Right.
But
yeah, it's always quid pro quo.
Very much so on that. But in the management world, it's very much a open book, and we share and rip off and make our own. And we're happy with that. Like, people always ask me, hey, what do you do here? I'm like, well, send me an email. I'll just send you a Word document. You can change a header and use it forever you want. It's all good, right?
Right.
And it could have taken me hours to write and perfect, but I'm happy to share it. It's just kind of how I feel in my philosophy. So the one more thing about what we want to talk about. So did we cover all the smart referral, smart mail, smart content, smart site on what you're offering here for property management advisory?
Yeah, I think I could touch just really quickly on the smart referral. So the smart referral, I encourage anyone could get started. $279. You've got access to a handful of these tools. Smart referral, you have the control to have immediate ROI. If you're not getting, 5 to 10 leads a month right now from your referral partners, you need to focus on building out that program. Whether you use our tool or not, there's not really a whole lot of organizational tools for a referral program.
That's why it's
kind of a unique tool.
It is. That's the first time I've really seen it. I mean, in theory, you could use any CRM. You could use a yellow pad. You could use Lead Simple.
Yep.
But I think the smart referral is a better way to potentially track it, because I'm assuming you have it to where we get a referral in, and there's going to be some sort of way to track and update those referral senders.
Yep. So you can see this dashboard here on my little laptop monitor, but you can go in and you add a partner. Name, email, company info.
Imagine that's a realtor, and the realtor sent you a referral.
And where we're unique here is we offer a pay-per-click and pay-per-form fill model in addition to the traditional pay-per-closed door that a lot of people do. Now, think about your realtor friends that you know. Maybe they have, they're all good people, maybe a little stronger ego sometimes, where they have their sphere of influence. They're really, on social media, kind of yelling from the rooftops there in real estate. They love the pay-per-click. They love that because they could post on Instagram, Facebook, private Facebook group, whatever groups they're a part of. They can post their unique referral code, put it on their website, share it on their podcast, they can put it out and about, and they can get paid when people interact and click it.
Oh, that's cool.
And so you get this natural branding that's happening. But here's a secret benefit to this. Backlinks, the SEO.
Yes.
The referral network through the affiliate, it's affiliate marketing. It's, tried and true process. Through that affiliate marketing, those backlinks being all over the internet, your website's getting boosted and you're going to get more traffic and leads to your site. Why have our smart site? Because we have all that data and that information so we can get really, really targeted and potent.
So that influencer just promotes your website, especially that free market estimate, whatever you call that. I'm assuming an influencer, like a realtor, like you said, can say, go here to this website and click on this link, and you'll be able to get exactly what your rental's going to rent for per month. And that would come through as a price per click, and you would potentially compensate that influencer?
Yeah, so you're seeing TylerLingle.com. He's going to get a nice shout out here. He's one of LiveIndy's referral partners. So what he did, we added him in as a referral partner, and then he's got a really nice website. I think he did, something crazy, like $20 million in sales, almost all with investors in this last year. Sent us a lot of business.
Sounds like it.
But he created a landing page, a web page on his site that's a shout out to LiveIndy saying, hey, they're my preferred property management company. And it says, get started with LiveIndy. Links a podcast episode that he had with co-founder Kenny. But this is his referral link. So he's getting, not only are we getting the benefit of the SEO of that backlink, but he's getting paid every time people come to that site.
So it cost you $10 if I click that link right now?
I think only $1. I think we're all right.
$1's not bad.
He gets paid well. He does a lot of business though. But you can see that now once you fill this form out, you've got the dashboard. It's real time. So, I'm going to just try to impress you, Brad. I know you're tough to impress.
That's what I was going to beat you up on is, okay, do you have a way to track your cost per client, customer cost, client whatever term that is.
So I'm going to you're seeing me fake a bunch of clicks here on this custom landing page, which is meant just to be a conversion page. I'll put tests so my CTO and co-founder doesn't get mad at me. So it's going to revert back to the site, which is nice. So we're going to pop back in. You're going to see the demo account has 94 and 8 right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and refresh it. You can see it's 102 and 9. So it's real time, and it totals out based on what you agreed to pay them per click, per lead form, and then per closed door. It totals it out and lets you track it. And so it's going to have that all in real time. You can pay them. They always ask to use the rent estimate tool.
Does that? I mean, can you set a ceiling for this?
Yeah, you control the cost. Our average cost right now per door added through the referral program is $165, $170.
That's what I needed to understand, because that's your cost per conversion ratio.
Everything we talk about in PMA is cost per door added.
Yeah.
All the cost per lead. It's a waste of time. It's all about cost per door. The referral, I push it hard. It does take the effort up front. You get the passive return back. But with $165, $170 cost per door, 10 referral partners, can you find 10 agents that can give you a door every other month? If you can, that's 60 doors a year passively once you build the network.
I like that tool a lot. Yep. Now, can this be tied into a RentVine type software or a Lead Simple type software to kind of work it on both sides?
Definitely, absolutely.
Okay. That's really exciting, because I was going at it is this. If you can understand your client acquisition cost, I remembered the acronym now after we're talking, your CAC. The rule of thumb has always been 500, 700. I
think
client.
NARPM says something 750, something
Correct.
like that.
Yeah, so they're
we
up
try
in
to
that
stay
range.
around 500 or less in Indy.
If you're below that, you're doing good. Hey, if it costs me 500, and again, that's subject, because do you add in your pens and your pencils and your gas and your car? You know what I mean? It's just fuzzy math.
You want to add in that. You want to add in our software costs, because it's a growth tool. Segment off. If you've got a website, you could maybe pull a bit of that out. If you've got a BDM, you want to add that in.
You add that cost in for them, their commissions.
Yep.
Yeah, all of their stuff.
If you have a VA that's sales focused,
all
you want
goes
to add
towards that client
in.
acquisition cost. So the client acquisition cost is almost a derivative of a profit and loss that's almost sectioned off just for business development.
Right. And if you're and then you want to look at your lifetime value, right? If you're able to produce a door for $500, and let's say depending on your rent, I'll just throw out $300 a month of income on a unit. That's probably pretty wide net of people listening here. You're going to break even at, throw in all your additional costs that we talked about, your BDM, some of those things that a lot of people don't like to add in because they don't like to see the number.
Yeah.
Let's say it really does put them about the NARPM average at 700. Well, man, I wish software sales had a break even at 3 months. I'll tell you that. Mm-hmm. Breaking even in 3 months, if you have them longer than 3 months, it's pure profit.
Yeah.
For us, I think our lifetime values, 24, 36 months.
Key points is a lot of people don't want to admit exactly what's going in to make the sausage.
Yeah.
They just want to say, oh, my client acquisition cost is only $166 because that's how many clicks I had to pay for through your software tracking mechanism. No, wait a minute. You got to throw in all the stuff.
Yep.
And it is kind of baked into your office as a whole. So it's the client acquisition cost is a very fuzzy figure to me, but conceptually you want to keep it within reason. And me personally, it could be 1,000, it could be 1,500. I'm fine with that because I understand the capital value. You're going to make your money back within a year, 6 months.
Yep.
And then you keep doing the right thing. You keep that home underneath your management wing. You sell their home later on for them. You sell them another home. It's just impossible to measure the client lifetime value.
Yeah, it's a lot of assumptions. Unless you've been around for 20 plus years and it's... though, business is changing.
And
Things
some of the
change,
gurus are trying to, well, what's your client lifetime value? Like they're super smart about it. Like it's so cut and dry. It's not cut and dry.
And let's be honest here. Let's be real. Property managers don't have time to dig in. I haven't met one property manager that's like, hold on, top of mind right now. I'm going to pull my books out. Let's go through and look through our QuickBooks and they're focused on so many different things, so many people, processes, and then you throw in growth to the mix too. We always pitch that with what our service, the whole intent is to supercharge growth for property managers, but it's something that you can control. It's consistent. And so if you've got just a couple core processes like your referral network, you send mail consistently, you maybe have an acquisitions team on the sales side, the tighter you can get that, your SEO, your website, that's kind of the icing on the cake in a lot of cases. Keep those pieces really tight and don't go wide with pay for this lead, pay for that lead. When you do that, it's just going to be, a hornet's nest. It's going to be impossible.
Interesting. Do you understand the APM model, the all property management lead source?
I do, yeah.
Okay, is there anything that ties into what you're offering here to maybe improve that interaction with those particular clients?
In terms of like the all property management leads coming through and how it would maybe play into this process?
You can drive them to the free market estimate. That's a pretty easy
so
easy
I
thing.
think the best, so all property management, you're going to be competing with a couple other companies, right?
Yeah, it's one, if they click on, if you're basically one of 6.
Yep.
Right? Competing entities, and then it's a race to the phone.
So it's speed.
Speed to lead is the only way to win in that regard.
And if you got a good speed to lead, it can be a pretty valuable resource.
It's very good.
If not, you're kind of lighting cash on fire in a dumpster if you don't follow. And that's with anything. Let's say what's an address in San Antonio you know the rent pretty well?
Ugh, I couldn't even give you one. I don't know. Make one up. You have to skip.
I'll do one in Indy, one of my rentals.
Okay.
918 East 46th.
All right.
It's in the Sobro neighborhood. Anybody in Indy listening to this will know what I'm talking about. So it's going to come back with a report. So let's say an all property management lead came through. What's a really compelling way to stand out? If maybe you say, hey, they want to report on 918 East 46, I'm going to jump in. I'm going to make a quick recommendation. I'm going to go in here. You can see me updating a recommended rent. So it gives you the range, gives you some info. You can even change the bed's bass if it's not not up to date, and that'll reflect the report. I'm going to change it back to a 2-bed, and then I can click share link. You saw how fast I just I did that pretty quick. Now boom, they've got that right in front of them. That'll be their experience. They'll see calculating your branded report. Now you just called them.
Yeah.
Hey, so I want you to pull up the report I just sent you on your phone. This is going to be my recommendation. So that's a way you could really follow up.
Because it gives them a low range of 800, a recommended rent of 1,400, and a high range of 1,500.
And you can text that too, right? Because it's not a PDF; it's a link.
Aha.
Right, and they've given you their phone, their email. You want to fire that off quickly, get that in their hands. That's the talking point. That's how you're going to close them.
I think the texting is kind of the next level, rounding out.
Yeah.
Emails nowadays are white noise. Like you talked about earlier, how much spam I get every dang day. It's just white noise. If it's super important or something I need to understand or get, it's coming through a text message.
Absolutely.
So I think that's where everything's going. That's really neat stuff.
Yeah, I listen. I love the voicemails when we do some cold calling every once in a while. You got to keep things sharp. I love the property management company owners that say, don't leave a voicemail. You can if you want, but just send me a text. I'm going to follow up a lot faster.
Yeah.
And I think that's just the world we live in. People are on the go. They're on their phones, and speed, quality, lean forward into the tech, simplify things. You're going to see some good results.
I think companies like Apple and whomever makes phones, they're going to create a feature that says turn off voicemail eventually, right? It'll say some sort of computer generated thing at the end that says this subscriber does not use voicemail, and they encourage you to send them a text message.
Yeah. Right.
Because that's a paraphrase of what some of those people do. And now the voicemails are transcribed. Right. It's so funny. I got a voicemail today. I'm looking.
I don't remember the last time I've listened to one. It's kind of funny you mention that.
I had one today. It was transcribed, and it was talking about an RV, and it said that the transcription went, we think we have a new Death Star waiting for you here at the lot. I'm like, oh, they meant Country Star. It's an RV brand, right? And so I was showing that. It was so funny because it said Death Star. Like, if you're a Star Wars fan, the Death Star.
It's going to jump out. Yeah. Do you ever get the text messages, people trying to buy your rental properties or anything like that? All the
time, yeah.
I think I was looking through one today, and within the same text stream, because, hey, I'll give them something. They're consistent with the messages, but they called me a different name, and then signed off with a different person. It's like, it does, the texting can be, better than voicemail in a lot of ways, but still got to have that personal touch.
Agreed. I mean, it's just a good way to follow up. I look at it like a closing out of a discussion. Say you're on a chat GPT and I want to know how much this home is going for. The home at 123 Maple on 46th Street, it's going for $1,500. Would you like me to send you a text so you can apply online?
Right.
That's where the text message is hugely powerful.
Well, and how many websites in the property management space, and I think a lot of industries are kind of guilty of this, where we create unnecessary steps. So one example of that could be your website that says, hey, get a free rental analysis. but then you fill a form out.
Oh, it takes forever.
And then you're waiting on your report.
Yeah.
You just want the rental analysis. I think there's crazy, I'll butcher this. There's crazy stats out there though about like that person probably by the time you reach out already called and got a hold of someone else. And so there's some really cool things with like our smart mail QR codes, our website where let's just go ahead and send them the rent report. But that dynamic URL that we have, it's only possible because we started with the website. And so kind of, I bet listeners earlier on were like, man, there's kind of a lot of stuff going on with property management advisory, what Matt's talking about, but it all really kind of comes together in this cohesive, set of tools, kind of tools in the tool belt.
Yeah. And eventually we want as many tools as we can to grow because now is the time. The market has turned.
As long as there's not a bunch of logins, try to minimize those.
And I agree with you on the minimization thing because the more logins you put in front of people, the more they're turned off.
Yep.
Right? One more login. Oh my God. So how to integrate all this? I guess that's the next challenge. So what I would do is I would ask you to leave your information here at this podcast because a lot of what we talked about probably has to be rounded out specifically to the end user management company that wants to hire you.
Yep.
They're not just going to write you a check and say, all right, go do it, do whatever you need to do. They're like, I'm using this already and I got this already. And it's probably going to be more of a custom plan for what you are wanting to do to help them.
Yeah. And the typical customer, it's just kind of anecdotal for listeners to kind of gauge maybe how they would respond. We do a 30-minute demo walking through this. We do a discovery where we're asking, hey, what are your goals? What are you trying to accomplish? It becomes very clear what 1, 2, 3 tools really stand out and are going to be useful and actionable. Most of our customers that move forward after that demo are moving forward within about 2 business days.
Okay.
Because it's pretty clear. And they typically get started in that starter account for $279. $279. We get a lot of customers that tell us, hey, like I'd pay on $279 just for that rent tool.
Yeah.
And so you don't have to use every tool at your disposal, but it's gonna equip you with advantages. The AI chats, the chat GPT, that's going to be the biggest buzzword. It definitely saves time as an advantage. But I think I liked your response to the smart referral because that's really what's seeing the best results right now between the smart referral, smart mail. Because people need growth, people need doors. That's top of mind, and those tools aren't really available right now.
Now's the time to grow. Best way to reach you.
So best way to reach me would be you can email me at matt@propertymanagement.page, or you can reach out to us at propertymanagement.page. And there's actually a HubSpot Calendly meeting link there that you can go ahead and schedule an appointment if you just want to jump right to it.
Good stuff, Matt. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Imagine a world where the phone doesn't ring, but tenant leads still get pre-qualified and scheduled. Where in-person showings get coordinated automatically in real time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Where occupants and owners are automatically notified of showings and leasing reports. Or imagine no one has to show your rentals and they get leased faster than ever, safely and securely. That's the world of Tenant Turner. Come learn more about our beautiful scheduling software and world-class customer support. Call us 888-976-4638 or visit www.tenantturner.com.
This has been a podcast episode by PropertyManagementProductions.com. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast, leave us feedback, and come back for our next episode.